My husband was secretly planning for my mother-in-law to live with us for 2 years instead of the 1 month stay I had expected, and now he's refusing to speak to me because I won't comply. Posted by you/reward specialist 3390. My husband and I have been married for almost 2 years, and our son is 10 months old. We live in Canada. I grew up here, while my husband immigrated when he was a student. My parents live nearby, which has been invaluable during my pregnancy, and since my mom comes over regularly to help us out, my husband and she are on good terms too, so it's been going well. His parents live in another country. We have visited them once since we got married, that was 7 months ago. The time before that was our wedding itself, which took place there. My husband had been talking about my mother-in-law visiting soon for a long visit, which I was happy about. We recently moved into our new house. I've done a good job decorating it. We have a large guest room, and I was looking forward to hosting her, especially since it would make my husband happy. A couple of days ago, he was complaining about how detailed her visa application was. I told him I was surprised it was so thorough. He told me that it's because, while regular visa forms allow a stay of 6 months max, this one allows 2 years. I asked why she would need to stay for more than 6 months. He said that she had been thinking of winding up her medical practice and basically retiring, and this would allow her to stay for a longer visit if we all decided it worked. I was stunned. I told him he should just do the regular application because his mom wouldn't be staying for anywhere close to 6 months. I had it in my mind that she'd be staying for about a month. That's how long we stayed when we went there. He said that she's his mom. She tells him how alone she feels. She can't go to my brother-in-law's because he lives with roommates, and we can't just put a timer on her visit here. He said she's been looking forward to helping us out with our son. I told him we don't need help, we manage fine on our own and with my mom's help. I wanted to host his mom as a guest, not as part of our household. He complained that it wasn't fair that my parents could visit whenever they wanted while his couldn't. I was hurt by that because my parents have helped us out a lot, and I asked him if he wanted us to limit how often my mom comes to visit. He said no. That's not what he meant, that he likes her, but it wasn't fair to his parents. My reply was that when my mom comes, she leaves at the end of the day. That wouldn't be the case with his. I ended it by saying he should look into the easier, regular form because she can't be thinking of staying for that long. He chose to sleep on the couch that night and has been cold with me since. I hate that, we've never been cold to each other like this. I talked to my mom too. She said that having his mom live with us for long stretches would definitely affect me, and that this is worth fighting for. I haven't seen him working on the application since. Last night, he went out when his mom called. When he came back, I asked him how she took it. He told me he had told her he's looking into what application best suits her. He asked me if I'd changed my mind, and I said no. He just shook his head and started watching TV. Am I being a jerk here? Relevant comments. Commenter. Was he planning to move his mother into your home for 2 years, going on forever, without even having a conversation about it? Ops response. He said that he was doing the 2-year application just so we would have options once she's here and mentioned that it would be a collective decision. I told him there was no need, I had already made my decision. I would not be okay with anything more than a couple of months, even that feels like a stretch to me, let alone more than 6 months. That's actually where I thought I might have been a jerk. He was talking about options, and I kind of just shut him down. Commenter 2. It sounds like they fully intended for her to move in with you. It's likely that once she was there and settled, she simply wouldn't leave. This is definitely a hill to die on. You will end up with her living with you indefinitely if you don't set a time limit. 1 month is quite reasonable. Tell your husband that if she wants to live closer to you, you can help her find affordable housing so she can be just as involved as your parents are. Her moving in would disrupt your family dynamics and your marriage, and I doubt your parenting styles would align. Letting her stay for more than a month would be the death of your marriage. Ops response. A lot of comments have said that we can help her get an apartment. I don't think that's a good idea. There's going to be a language barrier, she won't be able to drive, and there are a lot of reasons that won't work. I am very sure that if we go down that route, she will end up being a guest in our house very soon after. Commenter 3. Then consider offering to accommodate the month-long stay as a test to see how well you all blend. Tell your husband it's 1 month for the first visit, period. You'll both want to assess how it feels to have her there initially and then how it feels once she's gone again. Was the visit pleasant for all of you? Did you both enjoy her company and help? How overbearing was she? Did she constantly voice her opinions? Interfere in your arguments? Play you against each other? Did she expect to be waited on? How was your sex life with her in the house? Did she take over the baby? And so on. When she leaves, do you both breathe a sigh of relief? Do you find yourselves dreading her return or looking forward to it? Having another adult in the house, especially in such a young marriage, is a great way to ruin your physical and emotional intimacy. You can't shove mom in her bedroom so you two can just be a couple when the baby goes to sleep at night. No wandering around half naked. No spontaneous intimacy. Someone else judging your cooking, cleaning, attire, parenting, anything else you can think of. It will not be the experience he expects it to be. As for your husband saying it's not fair, that's apples to oranges. Your parents are local, his are not. There's no expectation of equal time, and there never should have been. Assuming his parents are still married, her loneliness is an issue to be addressed between her and her husband. Your husband is not responsible for her happiness. She has friends and family where she is but must have your husband at hand? Serious red flag. She will destroy your marriage if she's living with you, inserting herself into every aspect of your relationship and guilting him into compliance. Absolutely stand your ground. Commenter 4. I'm curious, Up. You say his parents, but you only talk about his mom and mention that she's lonely. Is his dad still alive? Are they still together? If she stays for a year, will his dad eventually come too? Op's response. Yeah, my father-in-law is alive, and yes, they're together. I don't think he has plans for a long stay like her, maybe just shorter ones. Update 1 day later. Thank you for the feedback on the original post. Yesterday, when he came back from work, I tried to start the conversation again. He had been giving me the cold shoulder since all this started. I told him that I'm his wife of 2 years and the mother of his child, and that this isn't how we're going to communicate. We started talking after that. I held my ground that his mom staying with us for so long wasn't tenable. If she wanted to visit Canada for longer than a couple of months, she would have to live in her own apartment, learn how to drive or use public transport. She's used to being driven by a hired driver in Pakistan, and adapt to a whole bunch of other changes. I told him that I don't see myself changing my mind on this, so he needs to be honest with her and himself and not go down the we'll keep our options open route. He said that he knows her living with us for an extended stay would require some adjustments on our part, but he was asking me to do this as a favor to him, that I claim to love him, yet I can't do this favor for his mom. I actually started sobbing when he said this. It was so hurtful that he was using this as a litmus test for our love. I told him that having her around for years would ruin our experience of parenthood with our first child, that I want us to raise our child the way we see fit, not his mom. Also, all the intimate moments we have, our sex life, everything would suffer. My parents are Pakistani too, so I know this will happen. He again asked me not to shut the door completely, saying he would tell his mom that the stay could only be for a month or so and that I could let him know if I felt the change wasn't too much. We landed on a compromise. For now, they'll apply for a regular visa that only allows a maximum stay of 6 months. If I change my mind, he'll apply for the super visa. He then had a long call with his mom, which his older sister also joined. It actually lasted an hour and a half. He was in the backyard for the call and even came back in to grab a chair. It was that long. From what I could see, he was mostly listening during the conversation. When he came back inside, he told me not to answer any calls or messages from his mom or sister. Meanwhile, I've received about 4 missed calls and 20 messages from them, mostly Islamic quotes about the rights of parents. I told them I couldn't talk right now since I was busy with my son. When I asked him how it went, he said, as well as expected. But he's not giving me the cold shoulder anymore. I do feel guilty because, as I said, I was actually looking forward to hosting her for a month. I think this whole situation may have caused irreparable damage, not just to my relationship with my mother-in-law and sister-in-law, but also to my husband's relationship with his mom and sister. I've told my mother-in-law that I'll call her back in a couple of hours once my husband is back. I'm dreading that conversation, but I know what my boundaries are. Thank you for the feedback, it helped. Relevant comments. Commenter. She is not your son's parent and has 0 rights to him. Op's response. I think those Islamic quotes were about their rights as parents to my husband's, and, by extension, my hospitality and care. I mean, I get it, but I don't know if this is how those principles were supposed to be applied. Definitely not going to get into a religious debate with her. Commenter 2. Do not take that call with your mother-in-law by yourself. Your husband must be on that call, and he better not cave to what she wants. Op's response. I was just going to stick with the 1-month-ish plan from the call. Why do you think I shouldn't talk to her alone? Just asking because I was considering getting this all done before he comes home. Commenter 2. I agree to stick with a 1-month plan, but it doesn't sound like she's happy with you. I think it's best to have your husband on the call so 1, he knows everything she says to you, 2. It doesn't seem like you're the bad guy refusing to let her stay indefinitely and so that your husband is also on board with it. And 3. He can do the work of holding the line with his mother and show that he is able to stick up for you. Maybe it'll be fine, but I can just picture the mother-in-law saying nasty things to you and then telling your husband she didn't say them and that you're overreacting. It's his side of the family, and it should be his job to mediate. Op's response: yeah, I think I'll wait and do this with him. Thank you for the advice. Op adds an edit to her post. Also, one thing I had to clarify a few times in my last post: a lot of people assume this is what happens when you marry outside your culture. My husband and I are both of Pakistani descent, it's just that I was born here, while he immigrated as a student. But he's been here for about a decade now too. Second update 1 day later. This is just for those who gave me a lot of great advice on holding the line and had asked for an update on my phone call with my mother-in-law. I spoke to my mother-in-law. Since her missed calls and text messages were asking me to call her, I figured I should be the one to call, not my husband. But I put my phone on speaker so my husband, who was lying on the couch, could also hear. She said my husband had told her he thought it would be best if she restricted her trip to 1 month since it was her first time in Canada and because we were really busy with our son. She said that ever since my husband had gone to Canada as an 18-year-old, he had always wanted her to visit for a long duration, and now, all of a sudden, he was asking her to restrict it when she wanted to help with her grandson. She said she knew I must be the reason why. I said it was a joint decision because of the circumstances, but she would not hear of it. She said that if her visiting for more than a month was so outrageous to us, then fine, she would limit her stay, but I should know that in Pakistan, in-laws live in the same house with a married couple, like my sister-in-law does. She added that she had thought I was in touch with my Islamic and Pakistani roots when I was getting married because that was what my husband had told her, but she was disappointed at how whitewashed I was. At this point, my husband asked me to give him the phone, but not before I told her that I was totally comfortable with how in tune I was with my heritage, and apparently, so was her son. I then told her my husband had just come in and handed him the phone. My husband went into the yard to talk, but I was so angry I decided to eavesdrop. He was talking to both my mother-in-law and father-in-law. He told them that he had not fled to Canada in the middle of the night as a student, they had both seen him off at the airport. He also said that when he had introduced me, he had not kept the fact that I was born and raised in Canada a secret either, and that they could not expect to treat us like a couple in Pakistan. Then he listened for a whole lot, like half an hour. I gave him a chair again, and kept telling them that things are different now. They ended the call with him saying that we were both really looking forward to her visit, and that we would make sure it was a great 30 or so days with us and her grandson. He apologized to me on behalf of his mother and asked me to please let her lecture go and still be on board with the 1-month plan. I'm looking forward to it much less than I was, but I said fine. Thanks again for the advice. Along with my mother, I was able to get good advice from here too, and I think I have managed to resolve this issue. I know myself, I know my mother-in-law staying over for years was not something I could deal with, and knowing a lot of people agreed was really helpful. Relevant comments. Commenter. You and your husband will still need to set boundaries. You know she blames you for the fact that she's not getting what she wants. She is already blaming you for the fact that her son is not giving in to her demands. If she's going to stay with you in your home, she needs to respect the fact that it is not just her son's home, it's your home too. It's not just your husband's son, it's your son too. She does not get to control or judge your connection to your heritage. If she wants to be welcome in your home, she needs to treat you with respect and avoid interfering with your marriage. Your husband needs to be fully prepared to rein her in if she puts even one toe out of line. He needs to take responsibility for protecting you from any disrespect from her. Good luck, and I hope you'll be able to come back and let us know how it went. Commenter 2. I want to add to this, and I know it sounds paranoid as hell, but after all the just no-mill stories, I strongly suggest cameras in the areas where the baby will be, so it doesn't seem weird or invasive. The only reason is the passive-aggressive actions and controlling behavior. She may try to break up the marriage by claiming you did something when your husband stepped out of the room or something along those lines. Keep a record of things, but only if you have the energy to track them. To me, this isn't just about culture, this is a woman who expects full control and may try to take it however she can. Take it or leave it, but that's my suggestion. Op's response. I honestly think I'm going to do this. As icky as it feels to think she would deliberately do something like that, her comment about me being untrue to my heritage is still ringing in my ears. Thank you for the suggestion. Op adds an edit to her post. I thought about this more overnight, about what my boundaries and consequences are. First of all, I'm going to let my husband know that it's not going to be a month or so. A lot of comments said that leaves it open-ended. It's just going to be a month. My parents' place is 5 minutes away, and I'm going to need her to be out by 11:59 p.m. on day 31, or my son and I will be at my parents' by 12:05. She keeps saying she wants to help with my son, but I'm not going to let that take away from my bonding time with him at all. If I feel uncomfortable or suffocated at any point during her visit, I'll go with my son to my parents' house until I feel ready to come back. Also, the rules regarding intimacy won't be the same as they were when we visited Pakistan. There, it would have been scandalous for my husband and me to give each other a kiss or cuddle in front of the TV if my in-laws were present. But I'm not going to have those rules imposed on us while she's at our house. I don't know if these boundaries seem petty, but after her remarks yesterday, I've soured on her quite a bit.